It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you gotta do that. I was up.
Well, before now, I would allow my emotions to affect how I handle.
Let's kick off with a question that's been circling online. What happens when the world's biggest stars, with all their fame and fortune, live behind a curtain of secrets? Brace yourself, because this story dives straight into the tangled lives of some of the most talked about celebrities today. From the mysterious late-night gatherings of industry elites to cryptic whispers about hidden cameras and red dresses, the tea is spilling everywhere. And trust us, it's piping hot.
My initial reaction, because that's how I always feel when I see situations like this. And then there's this weird sense of grief, because it is Diddy, right? Diddy is a hip hop hero. He's an ordinary person who did extraordinary things. To sit here and act like the man wasn't a huge part of our upbringing is a damn lie. So there's this weird sense of grief. Like another one of our heroes has ruined their legacy, and it's their own fault because of poor choices.
Picture this, the world is on lockdown. Everyone's glued to their screens, binging shows, baking sourdough, and scrolling endlessly through social media. But while most people were stuck in their homes, following quarantine rules, others were living it up behind closed doors. And no, we're not talking about your casual game night or a Zoom party. This was on a whole other level. Word got out that certain high-profile individuals were hosting private events, ignoring the restrictions that kept the rest of the world apart. And the guest list. Let's just say it was as diverse as it gets. Every pronoun, every identity, every walk of life was reportedly represented. Sounds inclusive, right? But here's the twist, these weren't just regular parties. According to some insiders, the gatherings were far from innocent.
Okay, this is what I mean when I say people wake up every day and just volunteer lies. Diddy, how are we supposed to believe anything that comes out of your mouth? And furthermore, why should we not believe the rumors of things going in your mouth when you out here volunteering bold-faced lies? You would still be lying to us right now if it was no video. You didn't even apologize to Cassie in the video.
Now, one name that keeps popping up when it comes to these so-called parties is none other than Sean Combs, better known as Diddy. And when we say there's no party like a Diddy party, we mean it. His gatherings have long been a topic of fascination, with rumors swirling about the extravagant and, let's be real, downright bizarre activities that allegedly took place. We'll get to those in a moment, but here's what's sparking fresh curiosity. What was going on during those quarantine days when the world seemed to stop? Yet the music mogul's world apparently kept spinning.
Why the hell do you or anybody care who the hell I spend my time with?
Here's where things take a turn. Royce Reed, the former reality TV star and ex-partner of basketball legend Dwight Howard, has dropped some jaw-dropping claims that make Diddy's party sound like more than just harmless fun. According to her, these events weren't just about letting loose, they were about pushing boundaries. And the most shocking part, she hinted that Dwight Howard himself might have been a familiar face at these gatherings. Ask him about the red dress he wore at a Diddy party, she said during one of her fiery online rants. That one cryptic comment was enough to set social media ablaze. Was it literal? Metaphorical? A jab at his masculinity? No one knows for sure, but one thing is certain, it got people talking. Let's not forget, Dwight Howard has been no stranger to controversy. Over the years, his name has been tied to various scandals, but this latest wave of accusations might just be the most bizarre. Royce hasn't held back, painting a picture of a man with a double life, one that allegedly involves luxury events with themes that are, let's just say, unconventional. And if you know anything about Diddy's infamous parties, unconventional might be an understatement.
Safest time. Are you, bro?
Is this what you want to talk about?
No, I don't want to talk about that,
So
bro.
then why are we talking?
But here's where it gets even messier. Royce's claims didn't stop with Dwight. She also hinted at bigger names potentially being involved in this world of secrecy. And who's one of the biggest names in sports today? You guessed it, LeBron James. Now, let's be clear, Royce never directly named LeBron, but fans have been connecting dots that may or may not exist. Why? Well, it might have something to do with a resurfaced video of LeBron casually praising Diddy's parties during an Instagram live session. "Ain't no party like a Diddy party," he said with a grin, not knowing that years later, those words would be revisited under a much darker cloud of speculation.
I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Now, let's not rush to conclusions here. LeBron has built his career not just as one of the greatest athletes of all time, but also as a family man and role model. He's known for his philanthropy, his leadership, and his willingness to speak out on social and political issues. So why, fans are asking, has he been so silent about these allegations swirling around his friend? It's a valid question, especially considering his history of using his platform to address controversial topics. Could it be that he's staying quiet because he knows more than he's letting on? Or is it simply a case of not wanting to get involved in gossip? Either way, the silence has been deafening. To add fuel to the fire, LeBron's son Bryce was recently spotted vacationing with Diddy's daughters. Now, this could be entirely innocent, just two families spending time together. But given the timing, fans can't help but raise their eyebrows. Why associate with someone so controversial if there wasn't something deeper going on? And let's not forget, earlier this year, LeBron unfollowed Diddy on social media, a move that didn't go unnoticed by eagle-eyed fans. Was it a coincidence, or was it LeBron's way of quietly distancing himself from the storm brewing around Diddy? And speaking of storms, Diddy's reputation has been under siege for months now, with allegations piling up faster than anyone can keep track of. From claims about hidden cameras to accusations of exploiting his guests, the stories coming out are enough to make anyone do a double take. One former insider even alleged that Diddy had recording devices set up in every room of his home, capturing moments that his guests probably didn't want to be made public. If true, this would be a massive invasion of privacy, not to mention a legal nightmare.
Coming out. It's so funny what's happening with Diddy because this was inevitable.
Now, let's circle back to Dwight for a moment. While Royce's allegations have certainly put him in the spotlight, they're not the only reason his name has been trending lately. A man named Stephen Harper has come forward with his own claims about Dwight, alleging a non-consensual encounter that reportedly took place at the basketball player's home in Georgia. While Dwight's legal team has denied the allegations and insisted that any interaction was consensual, the story has added another layer of complexity to an already chaotic narrative.
Meeting with the man who accused him to hook up, but denies forcing him to participate in a threesome, and he says.
But here's where things get really interesting. Fans have started to draw parallels between Dwight's allegations and the wild rumors surrounding Diddy's parties. Both involve whispers of secrecy, power dynamics, and blurred lines. And while it's important not to jump to conclusions, the similarities are hard to ignore. Could it be that these two stories are part of a larger pattern? Is there a hidden culture within the world of the elite that's finally starting to come to light? Or are these just isolated incidents being blown out of proportion by social media? These questions bring us back to Royce Reed's cryptic comment about the red dress. Whether it was meant as a metaphor or a literal reference, it has sparked a conversation that shows no signs of slowing down. And the more people dig into these allegations, the more connections they seem to find. One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. As new details emerge and more voices come forward, the world will be watching closely to see how it all unfolds. Are we witnessing the unraveling of long-held secrets? Or is this just another chapter in the endless saga of celebrity drama? Stay tuned, because the truth might be stranger than anyone could have imagined. And with that, we move into the heart of the story, those infamous gatherings that have everyone talking. What really went down behind closed doors? Who was involved? And what does it all mean for the people at the center of the storm?
Behind your back, it matters. And that's what we gotta first start off by saying. Like, you hear stats saying this.
Let's dive deeper into the swirling chaos surrounding these exclusive gatherings. Imagine walking into one of these parties. Lavish settings, extravagant food and drinks, and a guest list packed with A-listers from music, sports, and Hollywood. But here's the thing, these weren't your average celebrity get-togethers. The vibe at Diddy's infamous events has been described as something entirely different. They weren't just about networking or celebrating success. According to insiders and rumors, these parties were meticulously planned spectacles where the line between fun and something much darker became increasingly blurred. What made these gatherings so unique? For starters, they were highly secretive. Invitations were exclusive, and attendees were reportedly required to sign non-disclosure agreements. And let's be honest, if the rumors about what went on behind those closed doors are even halfway true, it's no wonder that discretion was a top priority. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just about protecting the privacy of the attendees. Some insiders have alleged that these agreements were put in place to cover up activities that might not withstand public scrutiny. And if that wasn't enough, there's chatter about hidden cameras supposedly planted throughout the venues. Yes, you heard that right, allegations of surveillance at these events have added a whole new layer of intrigue to the story. One claim even suggests that Diddy has a treasure trove of recordings featuring some of the biggest names in the industry. If true, this could be one of the most explosive scandals Hollywood has ever seen.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
The allegations don't stop there. Rodney Jones, a former producer and one-time confidant of Diddy, has come forward with claims that add fuel to the fire. Jones alleges that he discovered hidden recording devices in nearly every room of Diddy's properties, capturing footage of guests without their knowledge. According to Jones, these recordings include some of the most powerful figures in entertainment engaging in activities they definitely prefer to keep under wraps. The idea that someone might possess such compromising material has sent shockwaves through the industry. It raises the question, how many careers could potentially be at risk if those tapes were ever leaked? And more importantly, how far would someone go to protect their secrets?
Of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers.
One of the most talked about elements of these parties is the sheer extravagance. Sources have described scenes straight out of a movie: luxury hotels transformed into playgrounds for the rich and famous, complete with themed decor and elaborate costumes. Some events even reportedly required guests to wear masquerade masks, adding an air of mystery to the already secretive atmosphere. But the opulence wasn't just for show. It set the stage for activities that, according to some accounts, pushed boundaries in ways that left attendees shocked and in some cases uncomfortable. Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former partner, has been one of the most vocal individuals shedding light on what allegedly went on at these gatherings. In her lawsuit against Diddy, she painted a picture of a man obsessed with control and spectacle. Cassie claimed that she was often coerced into participating in elaborate performances that blurred the line between consent and obligation. One particularly chilling detail from her account involves the so-called freak-offs that Diddy allegedly orchestrated. These events were said to be carefully curated, with attendees flown in from across the country to take part. According to Cassie, these weren't just wild parties, they were highly coordinated productions where every detail was managed to perfection.
Yeah, but we've also heard that there's some secret lawsuit going on in New York City as it relates to Diddy too. I don't know.
But what really had people raising their eyebrows was the idea that these events weren't just about entertainment. Some insiders have hinted that they served a dual purpose: part pleasure, part leverage. The suggestion here is that the recordings allegedly made during these gatherings weren't just kept for personal use. There's speculation that they may have been used as a form of insurance, ensuring loyalty and silence from some of Hollywood's most powerful players. It's a theory that, if true, would explain why so many high-profile individuals have remained silent about Diddy's alleged behavior. And speaking of silence, let's circle back to LeBron James. While his name hasn't been explicitly tied to any wrongdoing, his association with Diddy has raised some uncomfortable questions. Fans have been quick to point out that LeBron has been unusually quiet about the allegations surrounding his friend. For someone who has built a reputation as a vocal advocate for justice and equality, his silence has been deafening. Could it be that he's trying to protect his image? Or is it possible that he's worried about what might come to light if he speaks out? The fact that LeBron unfollowed Diddy on social media earlier this year hasn't gone unnoticed, fueling speculation that he's trying to distance himself from the drama. But if that's the case, it might already be too late.
And I remember, like, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but like, I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside.
Now, let's not forget about Dwight Howard, who has found himself at the center of this tangled web of allegations. Royce Reed's cryptic comment about the red dress has sparked endless speculation, with fans dissecting every word for clues. Was she hinting at something literal? Or was it a metaphor for something deeper? Either way, the internet has been buzzing with theories, and the conversation shows no signs of slowing down. Dwight, for his part, has remained relatively quiet amid the chaos, but that hasn't stopped the rumors from swirling. And when you factor in the recent accusations made by Stephen Harper, the story becomes even more complicated. Harper alleges that Dwight forced him into a situation he didn't consent to, a claim that Dwight's legal team has strongly denied. But regardless of the legal outcome, the court of public opinion has already begun to weigh in, and the verdict isn't looking good.
The issue is, it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
What's particularly interesting is the way these allegations against Dwight mirror some of the stories coming out about Diddy's parties. Both involve claims of secrecy, power dynamics, and blurred lines between what's acceptable and what isn't. It's hard not to wonder if there's a larger pattern at play here. Are these isolated incidents, or are they symptoms of a deeper issue within the world of the elite? And if so, how many others might be involved?
That he walks away clean from this, that everything is dropped and he faces no charges or any prison time?
Not impossible. I mean, anything is possible, but I don't see that happening. I see him kind of going the path of R. Kelly, where again, for so many decades, he was able to act with impunity and just, with harming so many, young women.
This brings us to another unsettling aspect of the story: the culture of silence that seems to surround these events. For years, whispers about Diddy's parties have circulated in Hollywood, but few have dared to speak out publicly. Those who have, like Cassie and Royce, have faced significant backlash, with critics accusing them of seeking attention or trying to cash in on their associations with powerful men. But as more voices come forward, it's becoming increasingly difficult to dismiss these allegations as mere gossip. The sheer number of stories, combined with their striking similarities, suggests that there may be more truth to them than anyone is willing to admit. And let's not overlook the implications for the entertainment industry as a whole. If these allegations are proven true, they could have far-reaching consequences, not just for Diddy and Dwight, but for everyone who has attended these events. The idea that some of the biggest names in music, sports, and Hollywood might be implicated in such a scandal is almost too shocking to comprehend. But as history has shown, the truth has a way of coming out no matter how deeply it's buried.
Personally, I've never met Diddy a day in my life, but when you do wrong, it comes back on you. So none of us should be surprised.
So where does this leave us? For now, the story remains shrouded in mystery with more questions than answers. Who else might be caught up in this web of allegations? What really went on at those infamous gatherings? And perhaps most importantly, what will happen if the rumored recordings ever see the light of day? Share your opinions, ask questions, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay tuned for more updates on this developing story. Goodbye for now.